speaking on item number 6, the Tourism Strategic Plan. And I believe that collecting all public input is very, very important for something like that. And so how do you collect public input? There are a variety of ways. You have emails that are written, there's those cafe conversations, and I have to tell you that when you look at downtown or Old Town Scottsdale, you have about 300-400 merchants, and unfortunately, because they're running their businesses on a, one or two people without staff, a lot of them can't participate. But having said that, I looked at the report on item 6. The methodology, in my opinion, that's used to tally up the numbers and come up with what's the most important, what got the most traction, what got the least traction, the methodology is skewed. And the reason is this. It's based on 90 votes. There were no votes taken. It was casual conversation by design, and you had those white flip boards and notes were making. So to say that 90 votes were taken and then tally them up based on who liked what and who didn't like what, to me that is not a valid statistics that can be used to move this forward. In the meantime, there were about at least 40 emails from stakeholders and residents that were sent directly to the City Council with copies to staff and a whole bunch of other people. I don't see any of those emails on this report. I don't know if I could call it customary or legally, but any time that any public input is presented on an item that is either voted on by a commission or the council, any public input, doesn't matter the format, email, it should be included. I don't see those on your packets. And to summarize, and I'll be happy to provide all of that to you, to summarize, the majority of that input was centered on one, there is no front and center marketing plan for Old Town, for the specific districts, the 4 districts. There's loose language, there is a strategy, I think it's PE3, but it needs more robust language. And then after that, the second item that got a lot of comments was PE 1.3, which basically covers street closures. And by the way, to transform and repurpose a street to a pedestrian only, we already have that. It's called the Scottsdale Civic Center Mall. Main Street used to go straight from Brown to the City Hall, and that was repurposed back in the 70s. So it's not like we don't have this. So what we did is that we said, okay, let's put together a quick petition on Friday and Saturday and Sunday. I took it around and we got 50 signatures from businesses that are signing their name to it. The petition is not final, so I'm not going to turn it in, but this is the language on the petition. It petitions the Tourism Commission and the City Council, and there are 2 items. One is amend strategy PE.3 in the plan to add the following language. On an annual basis, allocate 50% of the city's existing budget for Old Town marketing and advertising, which represents approximately 2% of the annual bed tax collections. Right now, that amount is $530,000 that Karen has to market. This is just a side note, Old Town. And it's specifically for the marketing of the Old Town's 4 districts individually. And those districts are Arts District, Historic Old Town, Fifth Avenue Stetson, Entertainment District. Stakeholders in each district shall have direct input into the formulation of the marketing material, choice of media, and targeted demographics for their respective districts. And then the second item on the petition is eliminate strategy PE 1.3 from the plan. This strategy proposes to transform and repurpose Old Town streets to dedicated pedestrian zones. This very controversial strategy would enable future permanent street closures, taking away automobile right-of-ways, and removing street parking spaces, and we request that it's removed from the plan. Once we get everybody to opine on this, we'll present this petition to the Commission probably at the next meeting, and also City Council. But I think that you need to weigh this on a complete set of input. If you go strictly on the cafe conversations, which technically is not a vote, you're not basing the decisions on the total input. We'd be happy to provide additional input on these two items, and I think that's what you need to make. You need all the input to make the proper decision, and so does the council. And I want to thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Commissioners, have questions?
My only question is, what if the number doesn't work in the favor you want it to? How does that change?
If the number works, what?
So let's imagine we had 100 stakeholders, right? And 61 said to go ahead and go with the street closures. What then?
That's not up to me. What I would say is that obviously there are a bunch of proposed strategies.
Right.
That basically a combination of Karen's group and Experience Scottsdale and the consultant has recommended. And, you know, if you have a strategy that's very controversial, you know, you can put it in there. It's just going to get a lot of pushback down the road when it surfaces as far as, you know, as an item before the council. But all I'm saying is that if you look at your packets, you don't have all the input. There are 40 emails with detailed, comprehensive suggestions why something is good, why it's bad. How you don't have that. And I would ask you, why is staff filtering the input? They shouldn't be. I've been involved with a lot of stuff in the past 7 years, and whatever you have, whether it's a planning commission report, a tourism report, tourism commission report, council report, all of the input is captured, good or bad. And it doesn't mean that the input's going to necessarily influence the decision, but I question why the method of collection of the input is cherry-picked. But your decision is ultimately your decision at the end.
Did that answer your question, Chris?
Yeah.
Okay.